So now we will talk about cross-site scripting attacks, also known as XSS attacks. This is going to get a bit confusing, but please hold on, as after I discuss it here, we will move on to practical, real-life examples, and you'll start to understand what's going on. In web applications, you have JavaScript, which is a front-end browser scripting language. You see JavaScript everywhere. It controls effects on web pages and is the reason why on some websites you don't have to reload the page when clicking new content. A cross-site scripting attack is where an attacker attempts to get a website to run JavaScript of the hacker's choosing on the target website, so that when anyone visits that page it could steal valuable information or do something malicious, such as deactivate a person's account when they log into your website. So let's quickly discuss how the attack's performed, and then I will show you it in practice. Let's imagine we have a web application where people can log in and view each other's profiles, a little like a social network. We can even update our own profile pages. Now what happens if the user updating his profile page then submits JavaScript for his About Me section in his profile? Well, as we are not filtering JavaScript, unfortunately anyone who views our page will now have that JavaScript executed on their browsers. This leaves them vulnerable to a cross-site scripting attack. The attacker could be silly and update his About Me page with some JavaScript code that logs the user out by redirecting them to the logout page. So for example, if this user puts some JavaScript code in his About Me profile and all it does is redirect the user to the logout page, anyone who views his profile, this attacker's profile, will automatically be logged out of their accounts, right? So this is obviously more of an April Fool's joke, but in a real life scenario it could be much worse, such as making a user update his profile or making him deactivate his account, and in more serious cases, session hijacking. So what are sessions? Sessions in computers allow you to stay logged into a website. So sessions are represented by a computer cookie called a session ID that is sent back to the web server whenever you do anything. So this allows the web server to know that you're still logged in, as they also have a copy of your session ID on the web server and associate it with your account. So whenever you go to a web page on a website, your session ID is sent back to the server so it can verify if you're logged in or not, and it'll remember you that way. So as the web browser knows the session ID because it's stored as a cookie on the computer, this allows someone who has performed a cross-site scripting attack to use JavaScript to steal that session ID cookie and then send it off to another server. And once they have your session ID, they can steal your session and be logged in as you without even knowing your username and password, because you've already logged in, and that's associated your session ID with an active login. It's basically said, okay, they've logged in, mark this session as logged in, so that anyone with that ID can stay logged in as you, even though they never signed in with your username and password, right? It's very serious stuff. I know there was a Myspace attack many years ago where someone managed to get millions of friends by doing a cross-site scripting attack. It's serious stuff. We're going to discuss it. So I know this seems really confusing, but don't worry. We're going to move on to the practical stuff now, and I'll guide you through it with some real examples, again with a vulnerable application I've developed. So let's get to it. Hey guys, this is a website I'm working on at the moment, and it's being run on my computer. I've added a security hole on purpose to show you guys the cross-site scripting vulnerability. So this application has a cross-site scripting vulnerability that I've added today, just to demonstrate what happens if you don't catch these things, right? So I'm going to sign into the app. Okay, good. So this is my profile. It's a nice looking website. It works well. But if we go to my profile now and I press preview, I'm Dan. I'm a great software engineer. That's fine. So you can see a nice profile page. But I've made it so the About Me is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attack, just to demonstrate how this would work in the wild. So you need to protect yourself against this, guys. So I can actually write JavaScript in here because I haven't protected against people adding JavaScript to the About Me page. So if I press update, preview, oh, look at that, it's just displayed an alert. Now, JavaScript is a browser language that allows you to run a client-side script on the web browser. It's used all over the web. It's used with special effects on websites a lot of the time, like when things fade in and fade out. And we're basically embedding that JavaScript in the About Me page. And then any user that comes to view my profile will see this popped up to them. So that doesn't seem like too dangerous, right? But it really is, because you can do a lot with JavaScript. For example, I can make it so anybody that comes to my profile automatically gets logged out. So let me show you how that works, right? If you see the logout here, we right click, copy link location. And now if I put that in here, you can see this is the logout link for this tutoring website. Now in my script, I can put, you're about to be logged out. Nice little message to let them know that we've deceived them. And then we just start writing JavaScript right in our About Me page. It's really that easy, and it's so dangerous. So we basically say window.location.href and then the link to the logout. So what this does, it'll display an alert, and then it'll redirect the browser to the logout page. So anyone that goes to our page will be automatically logged out. Remember on the first video I was telling you someone did a Myspace cross-site scripting attack where they got millions of people to friend them automatically? This is a similar sort of thing they would have done. So if we go to my profile now, preview, you're about to be logged out, okay, and boom, I'm logged out. I've literally just annoyed a user. So let's sign in with another account. I'll sign in with my Facebook. So this is a different profile now, right? Let's go to the find, and we'll go computer science, search. We can see this. We can see my account here, like nice and innocent. So someone's just come to me now, just to see what I'm doing. They click on me. You're about to be logged out. Boom. You see how dangerous that is, because now anyone that comes to my profile can easily get logged out. And the thing is, that might seem like a prank, right? But you can do a lot worse. For example, I can steal the user's cookie and basically log myself in as them. So how that works then, we go alert document.cookie. Press update, preview, and we see nothing, which is great, right? The reason we don't see, what should have happened is, when we went alert JavaScript document.cookie, what should have happened is, we should have saw our session value, our session ID, and we would have been able to hijack the user's session, right? But the reason we didn't see the session is because it is set as HTTP only, which is a security measure that prevents us accessing it from JavaScript, which is great. So whenever you're developing a web application, make sure your session cookie is HTTP only to help prevent against this type of attack, right? So in this case, we're unable to get the session ID because it's HTTP only. However, if it wasn't HTTP only, we could steal that cookie. As a matter of fact, let's turn it off if I can. Okay, brilliant. So now I've turned that off. We can see the session, right? So how you would steal user session, right? Assuming the HTTP only is false, then that means we can access the session ID cookie from JavaScript, right? And remember, the session ID is used to authenticate your session on the web server. So the web server will create a session for you, and all a session is basically some information about you and your account, maybe what you're doing on the website. That's stored temporary, that's designed to be deleted, and it's represented by an ID. And by storing that ID as a cookie, anywhere you go on the website, your browser will send that session ID back to the server, and then it would be able to know if you're logged in or not, which user you're logged in as, right? So anyone with this session ID can steal a user's current session, which allows them to log in as the user without the password. Because what's happened is the person who logged in with this session, he did the logging in for you. So this session is in an authenticated state. So if you have this session ID, you can log in as that user, right? Without actually having to have the username and password, because they've already authenticated the session. Now in this case, this is my session ID. So if I was malicious and I wanted to steal people's sessions, maybe an administrator's session, for example, I would put script in here. So the current script just outputs it here, right, to the browser. But what I would do is I would have the script take the cookie and then communicate with some sort of outside source, maybe an image, for example, right? And then what would happen is their cookie would be sent to an external server somewhere where we can steal it, and then we can use a cookie editor add-on on a browser or something, and we can modify the session ID with theirs and take control of their session. So that's very dangerous stuff. Okay, so let me show you one other thing that you can do with this type of attack, right? I can modify anywhere on the web page because I've got control because of this vulnerability, right? So for example, contact details not shown as the tutor is not subscribed. So let's say I don't want to pay for their subscription. Well, I can gain the benefits from this attack. So if I inspect the element, I can see the class is TG address. So if I go back to my profile and I go to edit again, and I don't want to pay for that subscription, right? So I go down, I go script, and I know jQuery is enabled on this server because on this web application because I viewed the source earlier or whatever. This is what you would do. This is what a hacker would do. But obviously, this course is to teach you how to protect yourself, not to hack people, right? Call me now. Call. That's not my real number, by the way. Right, so if we press update, preview, and there we are. I'll show my contact details. I don't need a subscription. And the same applies for any of these elements, right? I could modify this. I could modify this to say alien shooter or something. Just take the absolute mick. I can give myself 100,000 views, right? It really is that simple. For example, let's take this then, right? And we're going to give myself 100,000 views. So we go back to the profile edit. Okay, we're going to put that there, all on the one line. And I'm going to go script, and let's see what the element was called. TG jobs metadata. So you know, I'm aware of this vulnerability because I added this vulnerability, right? I deliberately made a vulnerability to show you guys this. But there's lots of developers out there that aren't aware of these problems, and they don't protect against it, and they're vulnerable to these types of attacks. This is why I've made this course, to teach you guys how to protect yourself, right? So it's important that you ensure these things. So right, we're going to go like this now. We're going to go like that, and hopefully this works. I'm going to say we have 1 million views. Update, preview. There we are. So now we look popular. You know, the same applies here. I can give myself a fake rating, right? I can control any part of this. I can, because I can disable the report now button. So if I'm breaking the rules, they can't actually report me. You know, or maybe I want to disable all buttons, right? You know, let's disable all buttons. So we do, and then we go disabled, true. I think that'll work. Right, press update, preview. Yeah, I can't click the report now. Nothing's happening. Well, I can't click report now. You see what I mean? I've just prevented somebody reporting me for breaking the rules. Right? This attack is serious, and you know, an attacker could change the nav bar, right? So when you press dashboard, it'll take you to a phishing site that steals your passwords. Do you see what I mean? These are serious attacks that you know, you need to patch these vulnerabilities. So I'm going to show you how to patch this now, okay? This vulnerability happens due to allowing JavaScript to be in the application, to be in the. It's because we are accepting JavaScript into the about me. That's why there's this problem. So there's two solutions. Either you prevent all JavaScript and HTML tags from being entered into your about me, and this must be validated on the server, by the way, not just on the browser. You need to check this on the server, so when they post to your server, you need to check that the JavaScript isn't there. And if it is there, then you can tell them to remove it or whatever. Second way is to just automatically remove all tags and JavaScript. That's the easiest way, but it means less flexibility, especially if they want to write some code in there about me to show them, you know, what they've done or something in the past, right? Obviously, you would allow that code, but you wouldn't allow that code to run. Does that make sense? That's the best solution. But yeah, so let me show you this solution then. So if we go here, and this is just the code for this project, right? We're going to go to edit. So I'm patching it now, yeah? So, okay. So what you do is you strip the tags. Right? I mean, this is PHP, right? But I'm sure, you know, Java, C#, they all have equivalents, I'm sure. So what happens is strip tags will grab all the HTML tags and JavaScript tags and remove them from the content. So now that we've done that, if we now try to update our profile again, save, scroll down, and we can see our script's gone. So it's left this, but our script tag is completely removed, so this code won't even run. And there we are, the vulnerability has been fixed. So that's how you patch against these things. But another way is this way's people recommend this way more, right? But it's very easy to make a mistake this way. you take the data, you don't strip the tags, you store it in the database, and then when you want to output it to the user, then you encode the tags so that they're seen on the browser instead of run and executed, right? Now, I like that way, but it's very error prone, because if you forget to do it if you output the data and forget to do it even once, you're vulnerable. But yeah, go with that way you can, because that's the best way to do it. But the foolproof way, where you can guarantee this will not be a vulnerability anywhere, is to strip the tags as soon as you create or update content, and then that'll guarantee wherever you're outputting it, it'll be safe. So you can do it either way. You either store it with the tags and then encode the tags here, so that they're displayed but they're not run, or there's a thing called HTML entities in PHP. Look into that. That's how you can do that. You can strip the tags here, or you can do the HTML entities here and store it that way. But the most recommended way is to store the data as it is and then output it with the HTML entities or stripping the tags. That's the best way to do it, according to many people. So that's cross-site scripting. It's a crazy attack. I could change the logo if I wanted to. That's how powerful this attack is, right? I could change the background. I can do anything I want to this web page, deceive the user in any way. I can force them to report me. You know what I mean? This attack, I could force them to report me for fake reviews or something. Why would I want to do that, right? But I could. This is just how much control you have with this sort of attack. It's a very dangerous attack.